Hello everyone, welcome to the Straight Line Talks with Pallavi Sareen. Today I have with me here the Vice Chancellor of Central University to find out what is happening in the Central University these days. So welcome on our show.
Thank you, Pallavi.
So Central University Jammu, everyone is really excited because things have been popping up. The Space Center, the entire shift from Sunny Colony to here. So what is happening right now?
As you know, Pallavi, any new university takes about 7 to 8 years of time to mature up to a level while it can say, okay, we are complete and equipped in most of the things. But as it is, there have been number of issues which I had to inherit from the past, but notwithstanding that, I think we are doing reasonably good. As I said earlier also, that among the 14 new central universities, we are the second best in terms of the NAC ranking. We are 2.88, which is B double plus, and this summer I will go for re-accreditation, which I believe that will get the A grade, which is.
But what kind of problems did you inherit?
Well, there was something with regard to recruitment, with regard to the construction, with regard to purchases in certain cases. That kind of, for instance, we had tendered for the works beyond the budget which was approved by MHRD. So that scaled down the construction work. And also when I joined, I found that the priorities in terms of the requirement of an academic institution were not possibly in proper place. So I had to review that and
is that
scale
creating
down.
issues for the infrastructure development? Because
Yes,
as you see, that still the basketball court is yet to be completed,
absolutely,
and the roads are yet to be completed.
Absolutely. That's what precisely I am trying to hint at, is that I had to review the entire construction and scale it down by about 30%, which I thought was not important in the immediate context. What was required in the immediate context was, for instance, having an academic blocks, having, as you said, the facilities like sports ground, basketball, cricket, the gyms and everything, which till today, now 3.5 years, we are still to receive any grants, which is true of the other universities as well.
Any ideas for the library expansion though?
Absolutely,
because that is much
because we have the funds which were projected for the library, but as you see, it's a makeshift library, and we have tried to optimize the use of this building, which is otherwise known as Director of Distance Education. So it's not even a conventional academic block, but as you see, we have housed the science blocks here. We have I housed the departments in the residential quarters, in which you are one of the one there as well, without disturbing the basic architecture of the buildings. So hopefully, I hope that by another month or so, we would get the grants, which will help us to go for the first academic block, science blocks, which will accommodate 8 science departments. So the load on the existing and the demand for the existing infrastructure will shift out to that. That's
another thing that people are really excited about, whether it is the science department or just the people of the state, is the space center. So the foundation stone was laid. Is the work going on for the space center as well?
We have received the grants, some of it, and we had to go through the process of inviting the architects. And we have had yesterday one meeting in that. I think another 3 weeks time we'll have an architect in place. Then we'll start with the tendering and the construction on that. But more excitingly, I may share with you that we had an inspection, site inspection from DRDO.
Recently, just recently,
it's Ministry of Defense, and they are also pitching in with what you call the technology park, research technology park, which will have high-end instrumentation worth about 25 crores. So ISRO and this DRDO together will have a great contribution in developing our labs for all 7-8 science departments, which otherwise would have taken up possibly another 10 years to get that kind of grants and that kind of, and they are, both of them are the national and internationally known centers of excellence. So, for a new university, it's very good to get such engagements and partnerships.
And that's just the science part of it.
Yes.
For the humanities and social, we have a frequency now for a community radio as well.
Like we'll almost will have a community radio station on the frequency has been.
So how much work has been done, and how long will it take for the community radio to become operational?
I think given the time, I think 4 to 6 weeks it should get on. But I want it to be primarily managed and run by the students. So it must provide a interactive platform for the local communities in terms of their social, cultural, political, professional aspirations. We will provide a platform to that, which indirectly also therefore contributes to adding to the quality of good governance. So, as I see, the role of the universities these days is to become a partner institution in the societal affairs and see how it can best contribute in creating that kind of best practices. For instance, today.
So best practices. Do you think that Central University is in the state of Jammu and Kashmir? Have you given a thought to having a Dogri department?
We already had approved of Dogri Research Center. I said, let's start with the research, because as of today, even Jammu University doesn't have, not that I'm saying, I'm saying that what should be a academic priority. I think we must research, develop an Dogri Research Center, which compiles, collects, promotes the scholarship in terms of the folklores, in terms of the writings, in terms of. So, let's start with that. As it matures up, then possibly we can think of its expansion as well. But our academic council, as I think we already had Professor Deep Shikar Jamal of the English department is handling that. They possibly had 2 meetings already. I have also allocated them the seed grant to organize the first kind of an academic meet of the known Dogri poets, writers, even from the arts and other places, so that we start on that. And today itself, we have from Social Works Department, Dr. Iqbal, who is a faculty out there. Today, we have got a tie-up with the UNICEF on Child Protection Act, which is given about 35 lakh of rupees, and we will try to institutionalize this partnership so that UNICEF becomes part of our university's identity. See, the idea today is the world is of cooperation, of engagements to create a mutual win-win situation. Those times have gone where the organization, even the universities, could live in isolation without not knowing what's happening the next door. In that sense, I think we are, I mean, of course, it's because of the faculty efforts and the departments who are doing it. But I can safely tell you with confidence that we are far, far ahead from so many new central universities. Why? Because the faculties results have come up. You see, you had, I don't think any new central university has. We had Fulbright Fellowship in Environmental Sciences, we had Raman Fellowship in Fulbright, we had Hungarian in Computer Sciences, and these are the kind of things which are adding to the intellectual capital of the university. But one thing I am very sure, having spent more than now 45 years or so in academics, that academic institution will be measured only in terms of their academic outcomes.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Mr. Aima, you recently met Governor Satyapal Malik as well as Union Minister Jitendra Singh. So, what was on the agenda during that meet?
Of course, it was a phone call to the Honorable Governor, first time since he had joined here. And I thought I'll give him an update about the university. And he was equally emphasizing on quality research across in social sciences and sciences. He says we have now created huge number of institutions, but what is now required is consolidation in terms of quality teaching, entrepreneurship and research. These were the key areas on which he's talking about. And as far as Dr. Jitendra Singh, he is himself, as you know, an eminent doctor in diabetology, and he's himself been teaching medical college. So he understands the nuances of a qualitative academic environment, and in that we draw huge support from him in encouragement.
Now, without stretching it way too much, the last final question. Where do you think that how much time it will take Central University to finally reach that full-fledged state? It's still a new university, infrastructure we are dealing with it, academics we are still dealing with it. How much time will it take for it to start operating at its full capacity?
I think had we not had the initial hiccups, by now we would have been nearly 7-year-old. So I think it should take about 5 years time to become a very, very vibrant, because by that time we would have faculty, senior faculty in place. For instance, there is a huge deficit across, not only in central universities, in IIMs and IITs at the senior level. You don't find people because the mobility of the senior faculty is very, very slow on this. That's one challenge we have, but I hope we are just advertised today the non-teaching posts, and subject to the outcome of the direction from MHRD and the court judgment, if we are permitted, I think third round of selection of the faculty will also. So that is two challenges where I think once we have these people in place, I think we will be able to add a very dynamic vigor to our academic initiatives.
Some small message that you would like to give to our students?
Yes, students.
Central University,
Of course, I am proud of the students who come here because they have come through a very competitive 9 Central Institutes Collegium. That shows that they have the mettle. What I would expect them is to gain maximum exposure, personality development, communication and knowledge, because knowledge is power, and knowledge is not necessarily embedded in the textbooks alone. For instance, they need to know about what is happening at the global level, geopolitics, geoeconomics, what is happening in the region, and lastly, be contributing to the society. Because nation building is not done through the government, it is done eventually by the people. So I find that the young ambassadors who are going to the future citizens, they need to have a positive outlook towards life despite irritants here and there, and help their own selves to develop in a very competitive manner, not seeking concessions, because I can tell you today, Pallavi, concessions have never help societies to grow. And in Indian context, we have been very heavily focusing on concessions, this type, that type, but concessions doesn't allow you to get polished like a diamond. I believe that I believe every student is a potential diamond, but it has to go through a process of heat and friction. And once they do that, they will shine for themselves, they will shine for the others.
On that positive note, thank you so much, Mr. Aima, for being with us. With so many initiatives, Central University and its students have something of a bright future to look forward to. This was Pallavi Sareen on The Straight Line, signing off.